G'day, my name's Des from Catalytic Converter Buyer. If you've been buying and selling catalytic converters for a while, you might have noticed some discrepancies in how pricing is done. So I just wanted to make this video today to shine a bit of light on how pricing is done and how it could be probably done a bit better. Here we've got a whole heap of catalytic converters from different cars, from different years, all with different serial numbers, some without any serial numbers, and all of them contain different amounts of platinum group metals. So how do we price these catalytic converters? So it's been a given thing that over the years people have been using the serial numbers to grade the catalytic converters. Different companies have made different catalogues, and each company says my catalogue's the best, you should get my catalogue, and if you become one of our buyers, we'll help you out with the catalogue. So over the years, different companies have produced different catalogues. Each company says that their catalogue is the best one. Funny thing is, each catalogue will list different catalytic converters at different prices. There's no consistency. Fact is, the only real way to tell the value of any one given catalytic converter is to take the core out, pulverize it up, and then take an XRF analysis or an ICP analysis. The only way to really test is to take the core out and to analyse each one separately. Not all catalytics are made the same, and some companies put serial numbers on them, some companies didn't. If you know how the legislation works in this country, we use a European standard which determines the amount of platinum group metals that needs to go into any one catalytic converter so that it can do its job properly. In Australia, the European standard is at Euro 5 at the moment. In US, in Japan, in Europe, the European standard is Euro 6 moving on to Euro 7. In pockets of Asia, the European standard can be as low as Euro 2. So if you look at different countries as opposed to Australia, the amount of platinum group metals in any one given catalytic converter is going to be different just because of the legislation of that country. Okay, so legislation actually determines the amount of platinum group metals that needs to be in a catalytic converter to do its job properly, and it's going to vary from country to country. You might have a catalytic converter for a Mazda in Australia and a catalytic converter for a Mazda in, let's say, the Philippines. Both have exactly the same serial number, but because they were put together in different countries under a different legislation, they're going to have different amounts of platinum group metals inside. One of the other factors is that the catalyst by nature, in this case, depletes. Normally a catalyst actually can continue doing its job for ages and ages, but in a catalytic converter you've got exhaust gases that are being forced through the catalytic converter at a very fast rate, and that exhaust gas has carbon in it. So what happens is the carbon molecules, as they're being forced through the catalytic converter, collide with the platinum group metal molecules, and some of those molecules end up going out the exhaust and out onto the road, into the atmosphere and onto the road. So what happens is the catalytic converter that's only been in a car for, let's say, 10,000 Ks, has still got a lot of platinum group metals in it. The catalytic converter that has done 300,000 Ks has got very much less platinum group metals in it, just because of that molecular breakdown. So let's say we've got three catalytic converters that are identical. Just make believe that these are exactly the same. Serial number on this one is 123, serial number on this one is 123, serial number on this one is 123. This one's done 10,000 kilometres. This one's done 50,000 kilometres. This one's done 300,000 kilometres. This one is going to be the most valuable. The fact is it's only done a little bit of work. So the catalyst hasn't depleted yet. The one that's done 300,000 kilometres may have no platinum group metals left in it at all. That's why you can get 3 catalytic converters that look exactly the same but have entirely different values. Anyway, so the way to determine the content of each catalytic converter using a serial number would have to be done on average over many catalytic converters of the same serial number. It ends up being a bit dicey. As I said before, the only real way to measure exact platinum group metal amount in any one catalytic converter is by analysis. So some people back in the early days got an XRF gun, took a shot off the catalytic converter core and went, "Oh, you beauty, this has got 900 parts per million platinum, 300 parts per million rhodium, and 700 parts per million palladium. Let's write it down and put a value on that, and that will be our catalogue." So that's happened all over the place, and people started getting the idea that they needed to do their own catalogue, and this company got the idea, "I've got a better machine, I'll do my catalogue." This company got the idea, "I've got a better machine, I'll do my catalogue." So over time, what we've ended up with is a whole heap of different catalogues saying a whole heap of different things, which has caused quite a bit of confusion in the industry, and some people making big money, some people feeling like they've been ripped off. So you can get several catalytic converters side by side that have different serial numbers but look exactly the same, maybe even the same manufacturers, but they have different values. GM40 is a good example of that. Everybody knows about the GM40, it's a high value cat, but also the same manufacturer makes a GM42, a GM45, GM105, GM102, GM75. If you put them all together in a line, they all look exactly the same. They all have around the same amount of catalyst inside, but they all have widely varying values. Why is that? It doesn't really make sense. But the buyers always pick out the GM40 and they say, "We'll pay you maybe, let's say $600 for the GM40, but we'll only pay $200 for all the others." At the end of the day, the only way to really know is to take them apart, get the catalyst out and analyse it. So I've actually done that, and I've found that the GM40, GM42, GM75, GM105, GM102, they all are around about similar values. Again, it comes back to how long have they been running in the car, how much work have they done, but if you put them all side by side, they're all within about $50 of each other. There's really not much difference at all. So why is it that the buying companies are doing this sort? So here's the reason they do it. They overvalue one cat so that when they visit you, you go, "Wow, that's the best price I've ever heard of that cat." And then they devalue all the other cats so that they get those ones for a lot cheaper. But at the end of the day, they need those ones to make their profit. I'll use the GM40 as an example again. GM40, when the market was really good, the GM40 was worth around about $600 to $700 after analysis. But some companies were paying way more than that. So if you've got 4 or 5 GM40s lined up and then 100 other catalytic converters, they were coming in and paying, let's say, $800 per GM40, but they'll say, "We'll take all the rest of your cats at much deflated prices or much lesser prices." This has created an excitement in the market which has artificially driven up prices, and it's actually come to the point now where buyers and resellers are actually having a lot of trouble making money off these things. They're not able to make money on them like they used to be able to. It's driven profit margins right down, and it's also increased the possibility of criminal activity because of such highly inflated prices on certain catalytic converters. So what do we do about this? It's very hard to make things like this change overnight. If we want to get this catalytic converter economy working properly so that everybody wins, we need to do something about this pricing structure. I've been buying catalytic converters for about 6 years. I started with a refining contract with an overseas company, so I've never had to resell them. I pre-process them here in Darwin, NT, and I send them overseas as a pulverised powder for further processing into the raw material, platinum group metals. They then go to a refinery overseas for the final process, which turns them into platinum, palladium and rhodium, along with other byproducts. So what I would like to do is I would like to start to change this culture of what would you call it, deceptive pricing, and I would like to put on offer what is a more transparent way of doing things. I'd like to make it available to everybody that they can have their product refined and be paid the actual amount of what it's worth when it's reduced back to the platinum group metals. So what I'd like to do is basically change the pricing structure so that it's much more transparent and so that everybody gets a fair go. You know, the way business works is take for me, nothing for everybody else. A better business model is where I win, you win, my refinery wins. Everybody has their part to play in every part of the chain, and everybody makes some profit. So that's what I would like to do. I'd like to do that. I'd like to see that achieved not only through my business but through all the business here in Australia. How I propose to do that is by offering a refining purchase agreement for anybody who is a legitimate business who would like to come on board and into this new type of pricing structure. How that works is I actually will act as a broker. You can send your cats to me, or preferably you can decan yourself and send me ceramic monolith or send the core. I pre-process it here in Darwin. I will consolidate it with other people's catalyst and send it off to the refinery. So as I process your stock, you will get an XRF analysis of the actual amounts of platinum group metals in your stock, and you'll get paid according to that analysis. Your stock will be consolidated with other customers' stock, but only after the analysis has been done and you've been paid for your product. This gives us all the opportunity to be much fairer in pricing, and it gives us all the opportunity to buy with proper pricing understanding. So instead of saying this one's worth a lot of money and all the rest are worth a little money, we can bring them onto an average playing field and everybody can win. Becomes a win-win situation. Okay, my name's Des. I'm from Catalytic Converter Buyer in Darwin, NT. I'd be interested to hear from you. If you've got a comment, got something to say about what I've talked about today, or if you'd like to come on board as a win-win partnership, just drop us a line. You can email me, you can give me a call. I'm available 6 days a week.